In this video, what I want to talk to you about is deepfake, and that new laws need to be made to protect people when it comes to AI creating images that are not really the person themselves. Before I get into this video, I want to share other videos with you.
Much like the 28 girls who fell prey to deepfakes this summer. They live in the sleepy Spanish town of Almendralejo. When summer break ended, the girls returned to school. But this year was unlike any other for them. They were in for a rude shock. Each of them received images of themselves on mobile phones. Nude images. These girls are between the ages of 11 and 17. The youngest of them is not even in high school. And yet, naked images of theirs were being circulated all across town. None of them had taken the images, but they looked completely real. That's because they were AI-generated deepfakes.
When she showed me the images, when my daughter shows me hers in particular, when I saw it, I thought, because I know my daughter's body, if I did not know it, I wouldn't have a clue as to whether it's real or not.
Real, fully clothed images of the girls were stolen from their Instagram accounts, then altered using commonly available AI apps, and then shared in WhatsApp groups. Police are now investigating the matter. At least 11 local boys are being probed. They were involved in either creating the images or circulating them. Some even made an attempt to extort one of the girls. The victims have reported feeling anxious and depressed since the incident occurred. Some refused to leave the house. But as distressing as it is, one question looms large. Is this even a crime?
There is a lot of porn of me on the internet. My face has been digitally plastered countless times over other people's naked bodies to create sex content that I never consented to.
This is GB. She's a popular YouTuber who in 2022 publicly shared how deepfakes have been impacting her.
This affects people's lives. It's fully ingrained in mine. It dictates how I act, where I feel safe, and is something that I'm forced to come to terms with in order to just continue existing.
Those who are depicted in manipulated non-consensual pornography experience almost identical impacts to those who are actually having real images distributed without their consent. And that's largely because it's the same sense of being turned into sexual entertainment against your will.
Marianne Franks is a lawyer who heads the Cyber Civil Rights Initiative, a nonprofit dedicated to combating online abuse.
The kind of shame, humiliation, the kind of doorway into really dark harassment that can take place not just online but also offline, reputational consequences, maybe being fired from their jobs, maybe being kicked out of their schools.
The question definitely still lingers of if I lost out on that business opportunity because of those images, some of which were really extreme, if I'm just being honest. I mean, they weren't just nude images, they were like sex acts.
As you can see, 28 girls, which are minors, was affected in Spain because someone decided to take their photograph and match it up with someone else's nude body and then share it with them and share it with other people in their community. So these people are looking at these girls as if they're actually taking these nude pictures. And just like the mom said in this video, if I did not know my daughter's body, I would have thought that was actually her. So when it comes to things like that, I think there should be laws. And then when you see these other women who, you know, at first, like they said, with celebrities, their face was put on the bodies of porn stars, and then pornography was created, and people are paying to see their favorite celebrity, you know, do porn. And now it's like the average woman, the everyday woman, her face is now being put on porn star's body. And so on one level, like when you see the deep fakes with the Pope, or you see the deep fakes with presidents or celebrity, and they're dancing, they're singing, they're interacting with each other on a way they would never have interacted. It might be funny, it might be seen as a joke, but you have to understand that your image, who you are, and what somebody is portraying you to say or portraying you to do can have real world consequences. It can affect you on a mental level, and just like those young girls, it's affecting them on a mental level. And these women are being affected on the mental level. And then people who are seeing that is judging them based on something they did not do. Or like they said, they can lose their job. They might not get a job, or they might, not get promoted, or they're seen in a different light. People are approaching them in a different way because they're seeing this porn. And even how we are in this world, even if a person knows that that is not you, or that is not the person, or that is supposed to be on that photograph, they will still mentally attach that person to that act. It's almost like hearing a song that you, even if it's a song you don't like, you hear that song so many times, then eventually you find yourself singing it. You don't like the song, but you're singing it because it is embedded in your mind. And so that's how images can be. Images are very powerful. And if you get an image like that embedded in your mind, you're going to see that person in a different light, even though you might not be trying to, or even if you know that's not them, it's going to kind of make you look at them differently. And then with deepfake, with technology, with AI, it's only getting better. It's not getting worse. It's only getting better because it's a system that, even though the programmers are not teaching it to learn, to improve, it's teaching itself to learn, to improve. So it's going to become better at generating deep fakes. It's going to become more realistic to the point that it's going to be hard to determine if that's really that person or not. So laws need to be in place that if you can't show a person's signature, a signed signature saying, yes, I'm okay with using my image in any type of way, because I don't feel like a person has a right, like if they want you in this movie, they want you to do a video, they want to use your voice or whatever, and you say no, it should be a law that they cannot now bypass your no and go to a computer and say, okay, create this image of this person saying these words and put it out there. And the person is not making money whose image is being used, but the producer of that information is now making money off that person, and they have no repercussion. There should be a repercussion. There should be a law. There should be laws in place in every state and actually throughout the world to protect people when it comes to their image, when it comes to their voice, or anything like that. Because if you don't want your image to be associated with certain things, you should have the right to be able to say no, and no one go behind your back and generate a picture. And then when you look on the flip side of that, when it could become harmful and even deadly, some cultures have this, what they call an honor killing. And I'm not saying it's right or anything like that, but they do have in some cultures honor killing. So suppose a guy get mad because a woman turns him down, and he decides to make make fake porn, deep fake porn of her, and then send it out to her parents, send it out to her friends, and they see that image and just automatically go off, not thinking that this is not really my daughter because it looks like their daughter. And then they do an honor killing, or it calls a divorce because the husband and wife, she's trying to convince her husband, or he's trying to convince his wife, that's not me, I wasn't with her, or I wasn't with him. But now they got this image because, like they used to say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Now a picture is not worth 1,000 words because it could be a lie. That image before, it's like, I've seen the picture, I know it's you. Now you can't even put your weight on that because it's like, was that really you? Is that really you? And so what technology is, the direction technology is going as far as evil people using this technology to make deep fake porn, to make nude pictures of young minors and different things like that, is going in the wrong direction, that it can become harmful to the point of death, or harmful in the point of driving a wedge between a couple, because now they're seeing images that they don't know if it's real or not, and they're trying to figure it out. And then sometimes, like I say, it's hard to get certain things out of your mind once you see them visually, and it kind of sticks to your mind. And so I always say that we're living in like an incubator where things are being tested to see how far they can push the line and how many people will accept it. And so when you look at things like when they first started making where you could use filters. So you're using filters, and filters, like, you can look at some people pictures and say, okay, they're using a filter, or that was a filter. And some people you're not sure if it's a filter or not unless you see them in real life, or they're editing their pictures to kind of look different, and then you kind of look at it and like, no, that's not realistic. So when you match that up with these filters being used with AI creating images, it gets to the point where you don't know if it's real or not, because when you're looking at this real person who's using a filter, it makes you squint your eye and be like, is that really them? Do they really look like that? Or am I looking at them through a filter? And that's how AI images look. It's almost look as if you're looking at a person through a filter. So they keep pushing these things. It's like beta testing. They keep beta testing to see how things would go, to see how many people will use them and different things like that. Then they start pushing out other technologies that they actually want to push out. And now it's getting to the point where you don't know if you're looking at a real image or a deepfake image. And you got to sit there and kind of like study the picture to find out if it's real or not. And so some states, they do, like Illinois, Virginia, California, Hawaii, Florida, Maryland, Texas, and Louisiana, they got some type of law against deepfake pornography, sharing it, different things like that, depending on what images are actually in the movie or whatever. It's against the law, but the laws vary from state to state. It's not the same. So they need to come up with something cohesive. So no matter what state you're in, it's against the law, and there's a certain penalty, and the person has the right to sue you if they want to sue you and actually get a judgment against you because you're using them in a way that they don't want to be used without their permission, and that should always be against the law. You should never be able to take a person's picture, take a person's voice, and just use it however you want to use it, and you're making money off them, but they're in pain, they're losing, a person only has their word, and then now it's almost like you can't trust their word because you're questioning what you're seeing versus what they're seeing. And so there needs to be a law, not only in the United States against this, and it needs to be the same no matter what state you're in, but they need to have something worldwide, because everyone keeps saying technology is moving faster than the law. Technology is moving so fast that by the time laws catch up with it, damage has already been done. And the law, if you're going to bring something out like this, if you're going to have this technology available for people to use, these laws should always be in place, especially when it comes to kids and their images being used, and then, individual image being used in any way that they're not approving of. And so, I'm going to leave like the full length videos in my description box. Peace.